I wasn't on the stage. There I am. Hello, how are you? Good morning. It's almost afternoon some places, like here. It's actually 1 p.m. Yeah, it's been crazy last couple days, and I wanted to kind of go over some old information. In fact, I didn't even want my face on there, so I'll just do a full screen. And this is a presentation that I put together over the years when I was doing this in Taiwan. So I hadn't been here yet. I'm still going to get there a fourth time, but I hadn't been here yet. And that is the past perfect, right? I had more of a logo for my time in Taiwan at the time. I had this little logo going, and then COVID broke out. And then what was next? I forgot to talk about my GoFundMe. I wanted to remind everybody to go to the GoFundMe. I'm going to put the link in the description. Help me get there on the fourth trip. Okay, we're going to go through a lot of slides. And so these are the earliest images we had and we were playing with and showing and sharing. And I went semi-viral over the maps video. And that's what we're talking about today. These are maps, right? These are images. These are scans. Now, this is pointing at the castle. I still hadn't been there. I still didn't know what it was. It says here Chingeti. That's not right. Anyways, so I was kind of flying blind, wasn't I? So this is the Ptolemy map. What I always said was it makes the corner of Morocco very sharp and looks like a rectangle kind of in that way. And then if you notice under the equator, it's just funny. The equator, it starts to get fatter. That's not how Africa is laid out. But this is the way the Ptolemy, it says up there, General Ptolemy, right? And General Ptolemy, in my opinion, there's a couple of Ptolemies, right? And we're talking about a Greek person who was serving the Romans, if I'm not mistaken. And maybe you could give me a correction. I did check it out. By the way, I'm definitely going to interact with my audience right now. Thank you, Reindigenizing. Been a busy week for me. Lots of stuff was going on when you gave that to me last week, but I did check it out. I just didn't study it too closely. And I got to the video, and why don't you put the link to that video right in the chat right there, please? I'm gonna try to go through a bunch of these now. Let's see. We're challenging my knowledge of this. Who was General Ptolemy? You know, it's always the time when I pull out the the AI, the new Google, right? And we ask him. Okay. Unfortunately, if I do the voice mode, I don't think you're going to be able to hear it. And I learned last night how to fix that, but I'm not really interested. But I am going to use voice recognition to put the input. The Ptolemy maps that I'm looking at, who's the creator and what year was he born and what city-state was he born in? New line. Okay, so here we have Claudius Ptolemy, a Greek mathematician, astronomer, geographer. Now, there's also another Ptolemy king, different person, right? He didn't give us a year, 100 AD, it says. Oh, I did want to put my new timeline in here. And yeah, we can take a look at your video if you give me the link again. But I'm going to try to blast through a few slides first. So there you go. Definitely can do a screenshot or something. I'll get that later. No need to slow this down more. Okay, so there's the original map, and you can see the equator going through here. You can see the Tropic of Cancer going through here. So they knew about that. And if you don't know what the Tropic of Cancer is, you need to understand it's the highest point on the globe that the sun is directly over, like an apex. So after that, you get less sun and all that. Okay, next. If you don't remember, was the hottest thing, that I like turtles guy, and I just used his face and said I like maps, and it stuck. Visiting Atlantis, that's the one that Jimmy was talking about when he first came out in 2018, or I think it was late 2018. Richard Warner, welcome. You're. Thank you. I already showed you one. You don't. Oh, so are you implying something that the Ptolemy map isn't ancient enough? Is that what your implication is? I can appreciate that, but I think that really, what is that? 2,000 years ago. That's going to be about as far back as we're going to get. Fun with flags. Okay, yeah, I'm a fan of the Big Bang Theory as well. Okay, so anyways, if that's not ancient enough for you, I'm afraid that we're probably. Now, by the way, this has a lot of the whole Richat structure is Atlantis theory stuff. It was the early presentation, and so I tried to collect everything. And we know that visitingatlantis.com, I don't even know if their website still works, but they did the series Visiting Atlantis. Michelle Rossi, was it? And I learned all about Plato at that time and what he wrote. So I've been studying Plato's writings for about 8 years now. And the cataclysm theory was also there. And of course, Jimmy pointed out the castle. So I did videos and they kind of went a little viral about this and started to cover it. And now I would say I'm an expert. I hate this picture so much. Look at that, say pseudo historic already. I think this is Jimmy's slide. Yeah, and so I must have grabbed it from him. I always screen grabbing everything. And here we can see what they claiming is the Mid-Atlantis Trench was an island that sank. I mean, I don't even know where that came from. See, this is the thing. We're going to see a lot of stuff that I grabbed, and now I'm going to tell you why a lot of it's wrong, you know? I guess this, because it's topographical, it shows the prominence of the Azores. And there's a lot of stuff you can look at here and learn about topography and the water levels. But, you know, unfortunately, and by the way, do you believe in expanding Earth theory, or do you believe the tectonic movement separated these two continents? I mean, I think we can all agree that these two continents were all together at one point. But how they separated, that's something that people are starting to argue about again. People point out stuff like this, you know, and here's the thing. It's possible because of the color right there that is the same as this ancient shoreline. So it is possible that when the sea levels rose that something got covered up. And they're trying to show here they say Gadieris. I see this is I can't zoom in, or I would. Gades. See I don't know who made this map right here. I will find out later. If anybody knows what map, by the way, I never did a sound test. I just have to hear myself one time to. Okay, good. I said, by the way, you got to take a shot, and now you got to take 2 shots every time. Old world maps were 2 bubbles. Thank you, Jason Brain. Let me see. Yeah, and you're going to get that link because you're talking about maps as well, right? And the 2 bubbles merged into one. I see what you're saying. Yeah, we'll see a couple of things here. I'm going to go a little faster, and I'm going to kind of skip over that. Now, who would have thought? I put this slide in there. Yeah, if you're not going to get very far with a flat. The maps are flat. As far as the globe being flat, I see in this picture, it looks a little curved to me. This is a satellite photo. I was there. I visited this place. Here's the deal, guys. I'm going to do these live streams like this. No opening music. Just get right into the material. No messing around. And try not to waste your time. But, okay, thank you for saying that, Richard. But at the same time, I'm going to edit it down and try to turn it into something usable. I'm looking for an editor that can take a 2-hour video and turn it into 20 minutes of the important stuff. You know, if somebody wants to do that kind of work, let's talk. We just got to figure out how to get the video to you in 4K. Let's see here. So that's the Pillar of Hercules. That's the Rock of Gibraltar. I was there. I went there. I stayed in a hotel right there. It was awesome. That's the beginning of the Strait of Gibraltar. And as you can see, there is a chunk where it's not the Mediterranean and it's not the Atlantic. And Cadiz is not in there. So Cadiz is outside. Cadiz is in the what do you call it? The Atlantic Ocean. And when you look at this map up here, it shows Cadiz as an island, but where is Cadiz, the oldest city in Western Europe? So we got to find that map once we see the whole thing. I can't really click it. Let me just go in. Okay, do you remember New Earth? She used to do a lot of good stuff. She introduced me to a lot of interesting stuff. And I wouldn't know this right now. I didn't know that thing was over here at the end of Cuba. Maybe it's actually somewhere else now because I thought it was someplace else. And so this is where my mindset was in 2017, 2018, 2019. And I was going to work and I was changing my theme to the ancient history stuff, alternative ancient history. So here's what are we looking at? Oh, the point of this was to show how Google Earth censors this. You can see there's little areas you can zoom in, but no, the whole thing, we're just going to cover it up. That was it back then. That was my point. Okay, Brian Forrester is the one who introduced me to ancient, Richard Warner, submerged structures. So to get back to that, if you're not familiar with this scan, it's this underwater pyramids that I put them here. I don't know. I created this, so I don't know how I figured out. I think I stole her slide and put this picture on top of it. That's the Eastern Standard Time of Cuba. I think you're using voice recognition, right? Same as Mount Royal and Sacsayhuaman, Cusco. All right. Thank you for that. I got to clear my throat. Yeah, I talked a lot yesterday, like 3 hours we were sitting there talking. Okay, so yeah, Brian Forrester was the one that introduced me to ancient machining, and that's really kind of the wake-up call. I actually had the ancient machining thing years earlier when I had gone to Angkor Wat. I've talked about it in my Twitter, but these ancient machine marks and this, how did they do it? What did it? You can see that it was some kind of you can see in the back of that the way the drill bit would rotate. So it was not if this is 4 inches, the drill bit was not 4 inches. The drill bit went in there and oscillated and created that shape. I don't know for a fact, right? Okay, so second typing. What's about the typing, Jason Brain? Oh, I see. You were typing it. It wasn't voice recognition. I gotcha. All right. So this was like one of the first images that I really liked with the mid-Atlantic trench. So we could look at what's going on underneath the water in the Atlantic Ocean. However, I really think that Google Earth is better in general. There's a lot of problems with the scans that are like showing up there. There's a lot of stuff going on out there. However, the story isn't really about the Atlantic Ocean. It's about going beyond the Pillars of Hercules into this area only. That's why I disagree with the whole Antarctica theory, Cuba. This isn't really the Atlantis that I personally, it says beyond the Pillars of Hercules, and then you go out there, and what do you see? You see the Azores way out here. Don't forget, Plato made reference to the islands out in the open sea, as opposed to, he didn't contrast them, but the island of Atlantis was a different thing he's describing. There's a lot of things about these pictures that aren't really relevant to me anymore, but I don't have a problem believing that these islands were above the water. This plateau, which is called the Atlantic or Atlantis Plateau, Plato's Plateau, Randall Carlson pointed him out. I don't have a problem believing that that was part of Atlantis. Okay, getting through these, I was just showing close-ups of that same map and did that for some reason. Okay, Ali Bai was a great source of maps for me. As far as mainstream narrative goes, he's got a great resource of all the timeline. And here is the beginning. Now, this is 200,000. So this is mainstream. I'm not going to agree with this. But what it does show is the water levels are higher up in here where, what's the name of that little I should know. It should roll off. But anyways, what's the name of it? It's not the Red Sea here. What's that one called? Somebody type the name of that sea. And here you can see it's all the way out here, still land, right? But now we're about in here. All I see is Peru was part of Africa. Peru, part of Africa. What? I don't know about that one. Anyways, what's the name of that? It just pisses me off when I forget stuff I'm not supposed to forget. So I just have to get the, what do you call it? I did want to look at the modern day. Let's see where I was. I was in Lesotho last. Yay. Okay, let's go up here. And what is the name of this? This is called the Persian Gulf. Right? Why aren't we seeing it pop up? Am I not? Everything's here. This is the Persian Gulf, right? And so yeah, and as you can see from this picture, I think it actually went up higher and then came back down. Let's go back to my map. So yeah, the Persian Gulf is completely still above water, the whole thing. That's just according to Ollie's By History of the World every year. You know, I could still probably watch it a few more times and learn stuff, especially about later. But I was studying the very beginning. And I got these screen grabs. So 3,000 years later, boom, look how much it grew in 3,000 years. Dang. According to main history, we started there, right? That's Ali Bai. Over here in the Americas, you can see in the Gulf of Mexico, we still have some shoreline, if that interests you. The Great Lakes are represented as not being there yet. There's no water in there. Oh, is it an ice sheet now? I would have. See, I don't know. You don't see water in the Great Lakes 200,000 years ago. Believe it or not, I'm of the opinion that the Great Lakes didn't exist 200,000 years ago. But that's just me. You know, I don't have any evidence. Do I? I might have a little bit. They're called the Carolina Bays. They point right there. But I don't have those maps in front of me, and now I'm rambling. All right. There should be a massive what? Oh, yeah, they're going to do that. Really have something in my throat. Okay, let's move on. So yeah, 200,000, 197,000. I think that's an exaggeration. Let's get that thing out of there. Why is that even there? Let me get rid of that chat. Thank you. And now you can see that the whole east coast of Africa is populated. Now you have three things here. Let's not mistake Homo sapiens. Is that what we're seeing happen right here? Or is all the white Homo sapiens? No, it's not. So it's got to be Homo sapiens is the first one. Then the next one is advanced culture. And the next one is embryonic civilization. We don't have any of that yet. This is just Homo sapiens, right? If I'm wrong, I'll correct it later because I always make the same mistake because it's really hard to see the color of that versus these little squares over here. I've been watching this video for like 10 years now. The Yandex image search, yeah, that's my go-to now. Oh, throw me a link, and if it gets blocked, then let's figure it out. But because sometimes if you don't have a wrench, I don't even know how to get you a wrench. But I'm kind of over the whole wrench thing. I'm about to wrench right now. No, but yeah, get a link for the Yandex image search that you like to use, and I'll be happy to give it a shot right here, right now, live. Okay, so we're going to keep moving here. This is 180,000 years ago. This is 134,000. And what you've seen is an expansion of Homo sapiens into Asia. And now we actually have, yeah, that's it. So now we have some advanced cultures happening. And as you can see, simultaneously in Europe and right near the Persian Gulf, we have the Sangoan culture pops up right in the middle of Africa. The weird thing about it is it's the same. It's only, well, now this is only 20,000 BCE. So I gave you the slide of the first time it appears, and then the next time it disappears, I gave you that year, 18. It just stuck around for 2,000 years and disappeared. So, yeah, it's going to keep on moving. What I'm looking for now, by the way, we got to go back, because here you can see the Persian Gulf in 20,000 does have a change. And now see, the water is even higher up. Very interestingly, because now it's backed off. So I don't know anything about that. But we're going to compare. Let's compare all the areas. First of all, let's get back to, whoops, am I going forward? I went the wrong way. Okay, let's take a look at the Americas. 180,000, we see the shoreline, and then it kind of backed off a little bit. And over here near Australia, 134,000 years ago, you had this big chunk of land still above water. It backs off a little bit to 20,000, and then we're looking at both of these right now, and then it becomes modern day 18,000. By the way, the Great Lakes show up too. So is this mainstream evidence that the Great Lakes are known to only be 18,000 years old? That's the first I knew about it. Okay, now and then you can see that I think it's about ice sheets up here. The ice sheets finally exposed that big bay 8,400 years ago. Back over here, let's look at Australia and Southeast Asia and all that. You can see how it changes slightly every few years. Okay, starting now, no. Here's where the Caspian Sea is up there. I'm not talking about that anymore. The Persian Gulf moves just a little bit, right? Right here, that's the beginning of it, and then here. And right at the same time, you have something happening right here by Cambodia and Hong Kong Island. Hong Kong Island is actually still land right there. And according to this is all according to mainstream media. And mainstream history. So you have this happening over these same periods of time. And look, you have a nice civilization over there as well. That's interesting, but nothing in India. See, I can't really agree with all that, but who knows? I'm not perfect with this. Looking at Australia, there was something going on right there that I showed in a recent video. And Australia and New Zealand were connected. All right, so that's the water, and we still have a little more happening. So the water changes. It makes me wonder. Okay, so that's all I got on the Alibi maps. 18,000, and we have Europe developing, the Israel area, Palestine, and then the next one shows something. Oh, that's the so-called land bridge cross. So in 17,000, you're seeing in 1,000 years, these Eskimos are coming from Asia and crossing. I mean, it just doesn't make sense, because where's the population over here on this side? You don't see it, or do you? Okay, see, that's where that gray is so hard to see. So yeah, there it is over here, and then they hit it, and now they're hitting over here. I guess that's the same color. Okay, I was wrong. Moving on. Yeah, and then Africa, the thing here, this is really the history that I was targeting. What's contrary? What did I say? Anyways, don't worry, I'll edit it out. I'm going to edit out a bunch of stuff. This will be like a 1 hour live stream, maybe 2. Who knows where I'll stop. So yeah, over there you can see what used to be Clovis, Folsom. And where's Clovis? Clovis isn't here. Okay, so what I did was I didn't grab that shot. Clovis is first, and that would have been a good thing to leave in there. I believe it happens right here when Clovis appears, but who knows? Okay, we're going to be done with that. It's very good. You got to check it out. But yeah, there's not much data here about rising sea levels, is there? And the truth is if you look at the Google Earth, you can see those shores. So there was definitely some changes here. We just don't have them in this mainstream history narrative. You can see the ancient lakes here in Africa. I'll put those images. You've got... that was definitely the ancient Lake Chad. That would be, it starts with an F, I forget. And then the other one, we'll see them in a second. Okay, so yeah, alternative history was a thing. Oh, okay, correcting yourself. We found new tools outside Africa rewriting the human story. Where were those tools? I guess it's China. So they found these tools. How old were they? I think and this was back in 2018. And why am I looking at that? Okay, so that's my old shortcut bar right there. And some of the stuff, I think that one was a radio station. B was for, what is it? A lot of stuff. I don't know what those three things are. Those three arrows. Anyways, let's keep moving. That's Tom Likas. Okay. Homonyms lived in China 2.1 million years ago. Yeah, new stone tool find. Okay, so that's the same story? I think that's the same story. All right, so there you go. Hominins. And is it humans? Probably not going to claim that, are they? Hominin colonization of the Philippines was 709,000 years ago. So we've definitely like pushed the narrative back. And now we've got Göbekli Tepe as far as being able to carve stones that far back ago, 12,900 years. This is a story that I pulled up about the ones in Morocco. Sorry, I got a cough again. Bell earhound. See, this is something that I didn't know. See, now when I look at this map, I say, oh yeah, I know where that is. I've been to Marrakesh since then. Marrakesh is right there. That's the highest point on the Atlas Mountains, right below it. And I did drive in there. And this Jebel Earhound, I should have gone there. I should have. I was right there. I should have gone over to Jebel Earhound. Anyways, they found 300,000-year-old fossils there. So I was intrigued by this picture. I think it came for me from Graham Hancock, but I can't be sure. Okay, it's an equal azimuthal projection, but it does have a couple problems. But here's the thing. I immediately noticed that it was the same size as our equator. But here's the thing that I didn't know. Look at this line here. Earth's previous equator, question mark. Well, we know if you connect Egypt to not the Mexican pyramids, but it goes through Peru down to Easter Island. So I was totally off there. That's one big old thing that's totally shifted. I think what here we were doing was connecting pyramids, but to be honest, that ancient equator thing, if you look at this, it's not there at all. You can see even here that it goes through Peru and Easter Island. So I wasn't noticing the problem here. I didn't even notice that mistake, or at least I don't remember noticing it. Now, we do have this anomaly in the Baltic Sea. New Earth showed it. I haven't seen these pictures in a long time. I mean, this is supposed to be the real scan, but I think it's been changed quite a bit. And it does look very interesting. It looks like it has some steps. That's supposed to be more reasonable as far as the steps. That looks nice and clean. But we do have some straight lines there, don't we? Okay, we saw that already. Bimini. I used to say Bimini. It actually sounds the same still. And this map was showing something. What was this showing? I can't remember. There's like a thing that it's showing, though. Anyways, I think it's showing Antarctica. Or is this Bimini right here? Is that Bimini? Is that Florida over here? That looks like the Piri Reis map right there of that area that's supposed to be Bimini Island. Okay, and then I don't know. I can't even remember what this is. Yeah, when are we going to get to the ancient maps? They're in here. This is the water flooding, but since then, of course, the way we know that water was in here is not from a different time. I used to think it was isostatic rebound. No, it was being served by the ancient Tamanrasset Paleo River, and a map that has Solo Moon Temple. You might want to elaborate on that. I don't really know what you're referring to. Yeah, so we can flood and know that water was in there, and you have an ancient shoreline around the outside of it. And also there's so much more about water. But as far as, for example, this all being flooded, No, I believe there was an ancient sea above it in the north. I believe that there was some water in the south. There was some canals going through. I walked down one. We found an artifact in one just recently. So when it comes to how the water got in there, it's not from isostatic rebound, in my opinion. Although there was probably some ancient seas out in. Well, I'll show you. The world according to Herodotus. See, why is it in this order? I don't know. I don't know. Why that was there, I don't know, but that doesn't really belong there. Bright Insight definitely gave a lot of information. This is back when he only had 822,000 subscribers. Now he's doubled that, but now you don't see him growing anymore, and it's a shame because you know that he's being shadow banned. By the way, these little ridges, it's something that I just grabbed a screen grab of another place, but I used to think that was made naturally by some cymatic, but now I totally think that this could have been man-made. Maybe not by man, maybe by giants, but gods. Maybe there was some type of the Adrar Plateau is very magnetic, and that little crater right there below 891 subscribers. And speaking of that, please share my channel. Please check out my GoFundMe right now, but subscribe too and share it and get me more subscribers. That right there is the Sebket El Guelb, and I believe was the impact that destroyed whoever was occupying this during the cataclysm. Currently an eroded plain. Okay, so this is something that I wrote. I don't have a lot of opinion about this. I believe there was water here. I believe there was water here. I believe there was all sorts of flooding going on when there was a cataclysm due to broken water control. There was ancient water management. And as far as this, that I believe is wind, sand dunes. The wind did that since it all dried out. I don't really feel like we can say it's eroded. I mean, we used to use big words, and you see stuff like this, and it is something weird happening there, but is it from erosion? I'm not going to make that claim anymore. Okay, what did you say? Made for good defense. That's the Zoom map. One of the maps I showed is the Zoom map. Okay. For Sol O Moon Temple. Sun and Moon Temple. Oh, you're saying that the one that connected the three pyramids together was the Zoom map. That's what I'm deducting at this time. Okay, so these were like some of the first shots, and we've learned a lot. I would probably not put those words there anymore. And so here we have a modern day map of Africa, all the countries. We even can see, no, we can't. It's not updated. We don't see South Sudan here. So this isn't the Sahara now, because this is a different country now. I've shown you stuff in Chad and Tibesti Mountains. I've shown you stuff here, what says the Air, it's called the Air Mountains in Niger. And then we've got these, Adrar de. Okay, so these are words that I'm learning right now. I've never seen some of this stuff, although I saw this map before. Now that I know what I want to find, like Taman Rasset Mountain is also part of this thing called Hogar. There's Tibesti. And we have a big one over here that's not even depicted. Where's that big one? The one that the Garamontes, they're not even showing it. It must be because it's not as high. Look, it shows Erg-Chek, and I've showed you before. Erg-Chek is where those weird... I've shown Erg-Chek many times. Algeria, and right at the border, that right there, the Hogar Mountains are host to the Tassili Niger right there. So I have sent a lot. You sent a link, but it didn't show up. Okay, well, if you want to just use words, the built-up circle with ridges, perhaps for all-around defense against hostile neighbors and animals. Which built-up circle with ridges? There's so many. The Richat structure, I wouldn't really consider that a built-up defense, especially if it was full of water. Okay, that map is, there's still some things to be learned from that map, so I definitely want to try to get it updated, since we do see that Sudan is still one, not two countries. All right, and then there was some stuff going on over here that I cut off, Cape Verde Islands, because I didn't care. Okay, and you notice it. What's this road here? This road here, that's interesting. It's kind of cool that it shows these roads. It doesn't show the road Atar, it shows, but it doesn't show the Eye of Africa. So whoever made this map doesn't really care about tourism to the Eye of Africa. You can see some lakes. Here's a lake modern day. Here's a lake modern day. A couple of I don't know about these two. We're gonna have to go. We're gonna have to go look at that one right there. But there's more lakes coming soon. The Maghreb Sea is an ancient lake, and Chad, it's still there, but it's a lot smaller. Fazan was the one I was trying to say earlier, and of course the Agadez Sea. These are 10,000 year ago lakes. We also have this one right here. Do you notice how it goes in? So actually a boat. See, some people say that was the other pillars of Hercules. And, you know, I say no, because the story of the pillars of Hercules, you can see the Strait of Gibraltar in this map, was the end of the known world, okay, and the entry to the unknown. All right, and also there is a legend of Hercules breaking it through, and there is one map where it shows them still connected, but I think it was a matter of convenience. Thank you. Thanks for all the thumbs up. I'm kind of curious how many thumbs up I got at this time, so I will give it a thumbs up, and then I will refresh and find out. We have 9 thumbs up and 15 watching. Welcome all. We've been talking for 36 minutes. I'm going to probably not finish all the slides. Look at how much I was kissing Jimmy's butt. I wanted to give him credit. I didn't want people to think I was stealing from him. That's why I put that there. It wasn't because I was trying to get you to go subscribe. I think maybe I just grabbed these slides from him because I was lazy. I did, and I learned so much since then about who Solon is and who's this Plato. And Solon's age, he died in 558 BC, and Plato was born in 428 BC, the same year, same system. And so, as you can know, Solon is older. Now, who is Sonchis of Sais? He was one of the Egyptian priests that Plato mentioned as relating the account of Atlantis from the hieroglyphs from the temple walls. It's a matter of debate, okay, if he's real or not. Yeah, because people say Plato was making it up, but Plato said, if you know, that he wasn't making it up. I got these trolls saying he literally said he was making it up. No, that's a lie. You're lying, troll. You're lying. He didn't say he was making it up. What he did was he used characters to narrate the poem. He didn't himself in the literature say Solon was not Plato's direct ancestor. It was actually Critias's direct ancestor, in my opinion, from the way I've interpreted it. All right, and if I could get that timeline that I created, then we'll see everybody's in my timeline. I'll get that off the Twitter if I have to. Okay, because who knows where it is in my computer. All right, what is this saying? This is just starting to tell the Atlantis story. I told you I was going to gloss over all this, so that's exactly what I'm doing right now. Now, this term Maghreb, that's a good word to understand. The Maghreb is this area. There's also some other words, Barbary, Berber. We now know that all these words were referring to these people. Okay, Northern African people. There's some other words that are not here. Maybe I kept it in this. Okay, ancient megalake discovered beneath the Sahara Desert. Great. Where is it? That's this whole thing. I didn't really like this, and I didn't understand it. 42,000 square miles. Where though? Where? Wadi Tushka. Okay, so we'll go there sometime and figure out where they're talking about. You can see these ancient lakes depicted in maps very clearly. That's most likely Lake Chad right there, and if that's not it. And then what was the name of that other one? I forgot it. Oh, Fazan. Okay. Don't want to go backwards. We want to get to some maps. Now, this one I found online, but then later I acquired this. Bad news, guys. This is the edition Bab Sahara Bab Sahara is the hotel in Attar. I'm making the announcement right now. Unfortunately, Justice had passed away, and he was the owner. He ran Bab Sahara. He got out of there during the hot summers, but during the seasons, the Bab Sahara in Attar was the place to go. I'm in touch with, I think, Lorraine, and going to try to keep in touch. But, I don't necessarily want to go stay there because I don't want to be in Attar as much, but I might have to stay there one night. And so I'm going to be back in touch. I do have a copy of this map. That says 2015. I wonder what year is on mine. Since I got it in 2021, I bought it on the street. Somebody randomly walked up and sold it to me, and I think I paid $1 for it. I don't remember. I was happy to get it. And there's so much on this map that you don't see on Google Earth. So this is a good map to have. I should sell that map. Anybody interested? Anyways, and it's wait, I don't think it's double-sided. These are some artifacts that popped up. I think I'm looking at the Richat structure, and at the time these were popping up. I thought that was some kind of a cover-up, but since then these artifacts are no longer part of my life. Here is so the late Cretaceous, they're trying to say that Africa was separate and had an ancient sea going through it. I've studied the topography of Africa enough to know it probably wouldn't look like that. It probably would have gone through that lake that we saw up at the top and gone this way. Anyways, Hercules, Jason and the Argonauts. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that's in reference to, but I am happy to share it. So what is this? This is a dynasty, Almoravid. What year? 11th century. Berber, Arabic, Mozarabic. Oh, those are languages. Okay, the government. Okay, Marrakesh was part of it. I've been there. Agmat, where was that? Agmat is where? It doesn't show it on the map. Okay, I don't know what we're looking at here, but it was something I grabbed because I thought I was going to... I don't care about 11th century right now. We do know that the Rock of Gibraltar has its name from a conquering of this Iberian Peninsula, actually about the same time, maybe a little later. Oh, and by the way, I can talk about the Ibero-Maurasians that were supplanted by the Berbers. So this Berber tribe, that was really the name of it. What's this? The Ghana Empire. We're trying to get dates of who was in charge when I did this. So we can see the dates for the Ghana Empire. Mansa Musa came out of there. It was a black, not Arab. And here we are again with the Empire of Mali a little later. So I think that it was Mansa Musa came out of the Mali Empire. But that was part of Mauritania at the time. This is along the Senegal River. That says Niger River. I always get confused. Timbuktu, that's Mali. And this is later Songhai Empire. So we're coming closer to modern time. Mick Laws, how are you doing? Mario Buildreps. Yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about. I can't handle that. I'm sorry. I don't mean to disagree with any of it, but I've seen his axial changes, and there's just too many. I don't really believe we've had many, if one single axial change. And yeah, that ancient equator that I showed, this is interesting, but what use is it? There is a second eye of Africa out here, and they connected along that ancient equator. These are just some provinces, modern day. I was collecting whatever I could. There's the Eye of Africa. You've got a province cutting right through it. Don't you think it's time to change that? So I've been there a few times. And I zoomed in. Wanted to zoom in. Okay, and here, anybody can grab this on Google Earth. Not sure why. I just guess it was, I was trying to create a clearinghouse of information on this. I didn't realize that the Gambia is inside Senegal like that. I totally forgot about that. And so, yeah, how many countries are in Africa? Put the number. All right, I'll check it out, Jason. Thank you for that. And anybody's welcome. I did make my name.com live again. There's no way to contact me, but it has all the information. It's a clearinghouse of information. People have been bugging me about my qualifications. I said, watch my video. I talked about it. Okay, so this was the first time we got a distance between the Eye of Africa and the Atlantic Ocean, 594 kilometers. And I don't know why I did it here. I probably want to go down to Nouakchott if you really want to follow the road. Here's the road from Nouakchott up to Attar. That's I think it's like a 7-hour drive. It may be 5-hour drive from here to here. We did it. We did Attar to here in 5 hours, and I caught a plane the next day. And I think I pissed off the rental guy. These are ancient map lineups with modern day stuff. So if you really want to look at ancient maps, especially the ones with the Spanish and the Portuguese words, Cape Barbas, Cape Sintras was the one that's right up there by the Cape. Right up at the top next to the Tropic of Cancer is what used to be known as Punto de Sintra. It has a name now, Dakhla. It's a little tiny protrusion. Not sure how that got created. And then lower down, we've got this one, the city, modern day city, Nadebo. Don't really know how to pronounce it. That was known previously as Cape Blanco. I mean, Piri Reis map shows this very clearly. It even shows this shoal of mud. And this is where the ancient Paleo River came out. I didn't even know that at the time I was doing this. I learned it very soon after. Cape Mirik, that's this one down here. So now known as Noamgar. I never say that. Here it's seen. Nouakchott is seen, and then this Nadubidu is seen here. But we don't even see the name of these. Look at that, city of Iwik. It's a little tiny 2-road town, dirt guaranteed, right? And by the way, that's a preserve. There's a lot of bird sanctuaries and whatnot. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. The Tropic of Cancer is right there. If you don't know what that means, it means that the sun shines straight down on the earth there, but not above it, and it goes all the way to the Tropic of Capricorn. Tropic of Capricorn, 23.5 degrees. It's actually not exactly 23.5 degrees. You can check it yourself. Okay, this is a map. I think you've seen it. What is that showing? I don't know. I don't know what I was trying to do with that right there. But anyways, for some reason, I think I'm showing where the Eye of Africa is. Talk about the prime meridian on maps. 54 countries in Africa. Did you look it up or did you know it? I only knew it because of when we heard the news about Sudan and South Sudan. It was 53. And then, of course, there was a time when it was like 55. So it's not like it's growing number. We're not measuring a number growing. We're just noting that, well, okay, so the stupid videos are the ones where they go by the beach and they ask college students, hey there, in between, nice to see you and thanks for coming. The shameful people, when they say, name a country outside the United States, name another country, and the first one they say is Africa. They're like, oh, Africa. It's like, no, Africa's a continent. Nice to see you there. And I can just give you a forecast. I did these ancient maps videos a long time ago. And so I was just looking at all the things that I've learned since then. And the way my slides are is how it was, because I haven't opened this presentation in years. The prime meridian, we know about Greenwich in 1884. So when we're looking at ancient maps, you can't always depend on a prime meridian. But when you do see what the prime meridian is, going through England, right? Going through what city? Greenwich meridian. It's also going through France and going through Spain. Now, the Spanish time there, a lot of people, I was just in Spain, and the reason why their time zone is so weird is because a long time ago, one of the rulers of Spain, dictators, in our like in the last 100 years, since 1884, was grabbing the time zone of like the middle of Europe for some reason, because he wanted to be connected. Iberian Peninsula was too disconnected for that guy. But anyway, so the time right now in Spain is like the same as France or something like that. Whatever. Anyways, going straight through, you can see this prime meridian is very far away from Mauritania. So the time zone in Mauritania, I believe in Spain, or maybe they are the same. I can't remember now. Although I just went there last year. Oh, there it is, about Claudius Ptolemaeus. Okay, Greek and Roman cartography. So these early maps, this is pretty much like a theme you see, that so-called sharp square, and there's a lot of maps that are related to that. Okay, here I started going backwards as far back as I could go. I started with the 1900s, and when you look at maps from the 1900s, this is with Arabic. You can see the modern day colonization that was occurring. Now, this isn't how it, I mean, yeah, some of these are countries now, but you will see it's colonization more than culture. Okay, and I don't know what this map says, but I do know that it was from the 1900s. Reason why I wanted to keep it in here was to see if we could see any signs of the Eye of Africa. And as you can see here, you've got Cape Verde and the Cape Verde Islands. You definitely have what I showed you was Cape Blanco, Cape. The one that's by the Tropic of Cancer is what used to be known as Cape Sintra. You can kind of see something, but we don't care about this map. This map was made in the 1884. So you can see here something very interesting. This is what I was calling the Casablanca. The movie Casablanca showed this, and it showed Rio de Oro. Look at that. See, this is a very interesting map, even though it's quite modern day or 1800s. This shows that, okay, so I'm just going to say it here. When you go to Morocco and you look at their description, their depiction of what the country of Morocco is, I always called it the little porpoise up here, and then this looks like a pelican to me, like a toucan. Sorry, not a toucan, like a toucan, the cereal. I used to think that looked like a toucan. I guess I didn't really notice it when I was a kid eating that cereal, but for some reason it stuck with me. And you can see Tekna is the city in there. No. You go to Morocco now, it's all one country, including this. But I noticed it and you can see Adrar right there, the Adrar. What is the word Adrar? This is where the Eye of Africa is. And so this shows a couple things. Adrar just means Atlas Mountains. Adrar means mountains. And because the Atlas Mountains are so prominent, sometimes the word Adrar gets translated from the word Atlas. Anyways, we're talking about older maps than this. But I really get a kick out of that Rio. I think we have the map from Casablanca, the movie. They show a map that shows Rio de Oro, and they're in Casablanca. By the way, I did go to Casablanca. Definitely a boring town for me. Marrakesh was much more interesting. I walked around Casablanca, and it was kind of depressing. I left the hotel, which was closer to the train station, and I walked to the ocean, and it was like walking through downtown LA for me. Wasn't happy. I made it all the way out to one of the largest mosques in the world. I think it's like the 7th largest. Very beautiful. I got some shots of that. I don't know if I've ever posted those before on my YouTube channel. Anyways, I got a lot of content that I haven't posted. Okay, we're going to get past these. We're getting older. This was 1880, and it shows a little something about mountains out there. So it's actually not much bigger, but I was just trying to highlight it. You can go out how many miles. I measured the miles, I think. And I'm not going to go over trying to pronounce the cartographer's name or the name of the map. But we do see the year is 18. For some reason, I put 1880 here. But over here, oh, that's the years he lived. He died 17 years later. That guy, 1880 map. But you can see these mountains out here kind of show there was a very famous, and still is, and it gets talked about, probably this one. The name of this mountain, I guess I'll have to grab Google Earth, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Just makes it easier. All right. the mountain I'm talking about that makes some reference. Michael Tolworthy was the one that talked about it first. I think we're talking about Benamera. So the Benamera, for some reason, gets talked about. I don't know why. When you look at it, it's not that big compared to other stuff. You've got this long ridge here. Let's open this up so we can look. And so if you're talking about people that ventured straight in, you're talking about basically this ridge is the first thing they really get to. And there's a modern day road. There's a modern day road on this side of it. And the Benamera Mountain, you can definitely get pictures of it online. So it's a prominent. Michael Tolworthy pointed it out to me, and I had never been there before. So I don't know how to pronounce an Emera, or I do believe that it's an ancient mine dump of content that was. See, and look, they don't even show you the mountain. There it is. I believe this thing didn't just spring up from tectonic activity. I have conspiracy beliefs. I believe that's a dump. Some ancient giant, that was his pay dirt. Okay. And you see a lot of it out there. The ancient Taman, Reset, Paleo River went up and over this big Zorat. I forgot what this was called. I learned it, but there's two cities on both sides of it. The longest train in the world is right here. You can see it, and they fill it up with ore, and you can jump on that for free. Okay, let's see here. If South American split off Africa, Peru looks like it was once the PM. The PM, Peru is on the west side. I don't get it because Peru looks like it was once the PM on the west side. So that's why I don't get it. The tattered Aegean is a scar of whatever set off the flood, surged through northern Africa and wiped out Atlantis at the Richat. Well, that's where was the ice sheet? In Atlas Mountains? I think that the water that flooded Africa had to come from the ice sheets north of Europe, But I think that we're also ignoring there was a cataclysm that occurred, and I think that a lot of the water was already there. These ancient lakes, other stuff they'd built that we don't know about, the North Sea, the South Sea. Yes, it's not on old maps. Yes, I understood that, Alba. I knew that one. But at the same time, I mean, we do kind of wonder if we have certain signs they knew about the structure. And I think if you look at the Piri-Reis map, by the way, I don't even think the Piri-Reis, by the way, you got to take a shot when I say, by the way, I don't even think the Piri-Reis map is in this presentation. But if you look at the Piri-Reis map, and I can quickly grab it, here, let's get out of here and see if I can grab the Piri-Reis. See, Piri-Reis map is 1500. We're still in 1900. So if we go down to 1500, I'll give you a quick look. There's some maps that totally Ptolemaic in the angles, but Piri-Reis map should be right here. And the reason why is the Columbus map right here. There are some attributes on the Columbus map that are in the Piri-Reis map. Let me just grab this and duplicate it real quick and put the Piri-Reis map here. I'm ready to go. I can insert it from I got it ready from my computer right here. Boom. There's the Piri-Reis map. Okay. So that's why I renamed this 2025, because I want to make sure all these updates that I will probably be adding to this was taken, a lot of this data on the left here was taken from the Christopher Columbus maps. So that's where it came from. And yeah, the Christopher Columbus, you don't see Atlantic. Wait a minute. What's this stuff down here? Okay, anyways, I'm just being dramatic. Let's talk about this real quick, because that's what I was trying to do. What I want to do is I want to duplicate it. And this new one, I'm going to crop it a little bit and close in on Africa. Actually kind of want to leave Spain this time. Usually I do cut Spain out, but I think we can just stretch it too. And then, that's a little too much. Let's not do that. I don't like stretching stuff too much. Sometimes a little bit doesn't hurt anything, but that was too much. Now that we've done that, let's get in there again. And now you kind of caught me off guard. I got to basically, let's do this. And then let's do this. and get in there and look at this. I don't know. I'm going to have to do this way. Actually, I don't know why I did that. Let me do this. And by the way, and take a shot. This feature is kind of new, but we want it bigger. So let me grab the corner. This is the part I'll be leaving in the original. All right, that's pretty much what I want right there. And you can see these two circular structures in the Piri Reis map. And it is kind of connected to the ancient Taman Resset Paleo River. So I did want to point that out because you mentioned that it took seeing aerial photography before we knew about the eye. This is one instance where you might be wrong about that. Okay, now that I've kind of seen that, I think I'm going to just get through. Okay, I'm going to let you see every one of them, but I do want to just get through the the later stuff. Obviously, there is some stuff to be seen out here. 1856, nothing, but you do see the city of Wadan. And Wadan is right next to the Eye of Africa, okay? So you can literally take that point and measure that, and it should be that same distance. 1856, how did he know about the city of Wadan? Okay, here again, that says Hoden, H-O-D-E-N, but we're pretty sure, when I say we, the people who have helped me in the past have put that as Wadan. That's Wadan, and you see a circle there. You see a circle down here, though, too, in Tichit. Tichit doesn't have an I. So Tichit, and by the way, that's something that I can say after all these years. Now I know what Tichit is, and it's on this ancient map. And I've never been there, but there's definitely some canal inlets that go into this plateau up here. And there's more. It's a little bit too close to the Senegal River right here. But yeah, this is an interesting one. You can just see these two ancient cities. Arguin is the city right there by Capablanca. You can see you've got these other one, Cape Mirac. You can see that these are like, where's he from? Is he French? Is that Tropique de Cancer? I think it's French. This one, 1851, you can see Hoden. You can see it's not Tichit. It's another name. I think the Timbuktu is out here. Timbuktu is a province and a city. There it is, Timbuktu. 1851. There's Hoden. Okay, now here in this map, the 1805 map, you have Hoden, and then it's surrounded by this mountain right here. Totally wrong, right? Totally wrong. I mean, Wadan, what is it? Is it a road? So they're following the road from Wadan to over here in Mali. That is interesting. This is all kind of a rehash for me. Over here, you can see Capo Blanco, Mirac, and then down there it was called St. Louis River at the time, or Louise probably. And were these people Spanish or Portuguese? I think that the French Foreign Legion was here too. That's probably why this one has France is French. Okay, anyways, 1800 is over. Yes, colonization. Barbary. This is interesting. And up here you have this whole area is just Barbary or the Maghreb, and it goes all the way to Egypt. So that's an interesting one. And what year this is, not sure, but you can see the Tropic of Cancer going through there, and down here is Cape Verde. So, there's the ancient Taman Resset Paleo River right there. Without a doubt, that is literally, I never saw that before. Yeah, there's the ancient Taman Resset. There's the shoal of mud right there. That's a real, that shows the shoal of mud right in the, so basically when there was a unpassable barrier of mud, you're probably talking about this right here. Okay, that's exciting. Here, not much. You can see the Tropic of Cancer and not a single city to be seen. And this was 1787. Yeah, you can see Timbuktu, but that's following the Niger River and also the Senegal River. And the question that I have is, where does the Senegal and the Niger become? I mean, these are the lakes that shows that maybe was connected. Probably not. Must be the head of the Niger River right here, and this must be the head of one of the heads of the Senegal River. I shouldn't say one of the heads, but I think you get my point. Okay, here we go. Down here again, you can see the ancient Taman Resset River, entering in just under Cape Blanco. And down here is Senegal River. So we know there was a river there. I think Nouakchott also had a river. I'm just checking some chats. This is 1737. Sahara Desert Barbaria. And here it says Ethiopia. The word Ethiopia, inferior, not interior. Ethiopia interior is over there. Ethiopia inferior is right there. And then you've got the Terra Nigritarum, basically Niger or Nigeria is another country nearby that uses those letters. See how casual I am? Okay. Wow, I got a message on my phone. I just want to check it real quick and see if somebody's like outside ready to knock on the door. Nope, we're doing okay. All right. So back to this maps. Yeah, these ancient maps looking at this area that now I've been there 3 times. We know you don't see Hoden here. You see other stuff. It looks like Latin. Caragelli, is that Italian? Who did this? Johann Matthias Hasse did it. He was alive in 1684 to 1742. And what is this Valatar? You got these like borderline Latin names. I think they may have come from Russian. I'm sorry, what am I talking about? The Ptolemy, the ancient Greek guy who was doing it for the Romans is what I was trying to say. And yeah, this was basically showing a meridian out here, I think. Maybe not. I don't know why I did that. I was trying to make a point about the meridian. Anyway, it's all out of focus. Wouldn't it be cool if we could get in there? What does that say? Doesn't say Tamanrasset. This is pretty clear. And this one, we can see the Tropic of Cancer. So we can go down to Cape Blanco. You can definitely see the ancient Tamanrasset River. It goes to Hoden, okay? So this is like the proof that that's needed here. 1710. So we have in the 1710 map with these, what looks like Latin or maybe Spanish, probably, Latin, because Latin affected Spanish. And you can see it going to Huadan. Modern day, they still sometimes spell it with a W. But this is Hoden. And you can see right there, I don't know what country, but this looks like English. It says Canary Islands to Spain. So maybe it's for England or maybe it's for the USA. 1710 map. It definitely wasn't the USA yet, was it? Okay, so I guess the colonies were there, but that was England. So anything in English would be England. Okay, we can actually see the same map. You can see right there. You've got a little village. Okay, it looks like it's like a castle. I mean, it's really like a Chinese character in a way. But you can see over here in Timbuktu, you've got what in a lot of maps is a castle, which represents, like up here, that is definitely a Casbah in a way. I bet you we can figure out which one exactly that is because I've got a bunch of them I found there. Tegaza, the name's right there. The rock salt mines right there in English. So who did this? Herman Moll. He did it. He died in 1732. And it says in English words. So Casali salt mines, Galata salt mines. I mean, Gulf of Sintra. There you go. That's actually, I happen to know the Gulf of Sintra is by the red line. So obviously they're a little off on that map. The red line is the Tropic of Cancer. I know. It's so true, Richard Warner. They used to be art. And yeah, they were made from people who are on the ground and not flying over. It's like Google Earth has a lost what do you call it? A lost art. Okay. Want to get in? Wait. So this is 1644. Okay. And this is one of my favorites. This map here is based on another map. And so these animals out here in another map, the animals are out in the ocean. This was Willem Janzoon Blau. And we have the same thing happening over here. And if we now we know that the Tropic of Cancer is 23.5 degrees approximately. So this line's got to be the 20-degree line. And then down here, that's got to be the 10-degree line, right? Because we know that the equator is right there, and it's not going through equatorial New Guinea at all. Equatorial New Guinea doesn't touch the equator. Learn your maps. Okay, this shows the river system, Senegal River and these other rivers. And what we do see sometimes is a river going straight down here. That's one that I'm kind of can't wait to find. Okay, we're leaving 1600. Now we're in the 1500s. And here's that map that I was talking about. Yeah, the Abraham Ortelius map. And this is the Africa. Okay, so this is a way you can search the tabula maps. This says copper plate. I don't know anything about that, but the tabula maps, you can find a whole bunch of them, and they show all sorts of cool stuff. Here's another one. That's not the same map, right? So that's another one. Wait, or maybe it's a different scan of the same one. I think this is a different one, because here you see red, down here you see green, but in this one you just see yellow all around. So you're looking at these coastline cities. You're also looking at the ancient lakes. I used to call these the sperm lakes because they look like long sperms, or polywogs would probably be a better choice, since I never really have up close seen a sperm. That's a really long river going all the way to the Tropic of Cancer right there. Probably wrong, but it does show a deep, deep river. I mean, looking at the modern day, what do you find? Let's go get that map back and take a quick look at it. Because honestly, back then, I wasn't really paying attention to stuff like that. But what it's showing here is a river that's cutting all the way down through here to the Tropic of Cancer. The Tropic of Cancer is right here. I'm not going to turn on the grids, but like Taman Reset. And by the way, it's right where this thing is right here. Take a shot. I said BTW. Right here, it kind of looks like it could have been a straight line, like part of a river system. But who knows where they were getting their information from? I mean, you really don't know. But when you look at that, and I didn't really zoom in back then because I was more fixated on next to the Eye of Africa. I never really looked at this up close. So now I can. It says Barbaria, Barcha. I know Thebes is down here. And this is still way after the Herodotus map. So there's a lot of knowledge already there. 2 big lakes out there. What is this lake called? This must be obviously the Chad Mega Lake. But this one right here, when I say mega, it's probably smaller now. But anyways, I'm talking wrong. I take back everything I said. Okay, this is a good one. And this one, basically, everything above the Tropic of Cancer is orange and everything below is green. And it's trying to imply that that's approximately where the desert stops. Here you can see Hoden. So this is a really good representation of what I think was Atlantis, because the river, even though it's depicted down here, wait a minute, where is it? I got lost. Yeah, see, this is one of the confusing ones, because I used to think that was for sure the Cape Verde. But no, this is Cape Blanco right there. You can see the Hoden River. Sorry, you can see Hoden at the end of the river, which is obviously the ancient Taman Reset Paleo River. Was it a rushing river? It's depicted as a very short river, and it doesn't talk like it's the Senegal River with all its lakes and all these delta entry points over here that you can see. But it's definitely a river, and I wonder if it was rushing and gushing and showed water or not back in the 1600s. Okay, yeah, I better use it that way. That way I'll say this is the 1600s, 1584. Okay, you do see the river I'm talking about up here. Okay, and this would probably be the Fezon Lake. So it's a really interesting question where they were really thinking this was from. One thing you don't see is the entry point here into this lake bed. Instead, they're going straight through, which this is pretty thick Atlas Mountains up here. So I don't really know how they figured that one out. This must be the 30-degree line coming out in Tripoli. Now, Tripoli, the modern day Tripoli, is not exactly there. It's Tunisia, but Tripoli is over here now, right? That's Tripoli right there. So maybe they are talking about this entry point right here. And I forgot what this was called back in the day, the ancient lake. And it was showing in that one map that the boat could just enter here and come into this water here. Chot de Jared is the modern day Chot. I don't know what Chot means, but Nouakchott is also similar. Nouakchott and Chot el Jared. So what does Chot mean? That sounds like a good question for this guy right here. Whoops. Uh-oh. I hope I didn't show you my Playboy poster. Oh, I don't have the camera on. Okay, so I'll turn the camera on just so you can see. I was just joking about the poster. But just put this in real quick. I definitely don't have island in the middle, Nigia Lake in my map. Interesting. Let me just show that real quick. Okay. Maps used to be art. Yes, they are beautiful. They are more beautiful the farther back you go. These cartographers had it down. They really did. Okay, we're looking up the word shot. And I'm going to use voice recognition. In North Africa on ancient maps, this is seen. For Tunisia, it's seen. And then we have the capital of Mauritania also has this word shot. What does it mean? Where is this derived from? Is it Arabic? Tell me everything. New line. So it's a shore or a bank. Refers to seasonal salt lakes or salt pans. All right. Arabic roots. It's used in geography. It's describing salt encrusted basins. There you go. All right. Well, I didn't want to go into that too far, but yeah, we can look at we'll leave that open. I'm going to move this over here. There's that one shot, but according to the ancient map we were just looking at, a boat could literally just float right into the middle of it. And it was the same shape and everything. So there's no question that it was incorporating this modern day outline of Chot el Jared. Jared? Like Subway Jared? Okay. And then over here, we've got Nouakchott. Now, Nouakchott, when you're there, you don't see, I guess it's obvious from this that any salt pan actions over here, but this is the Nouakchott. The city itself doesn't seem to have anything like that. We can talk more about that capital, but I prefer not to hang out there. I want to get out to the eye. If I'm going to be in Mauritania, I don't want to be hanging out in the capital. I want to be over here. So I've been there 3 times. I can tell you what to do, where to go. Just talk to me. Talk to me. What did this say? I've got the Vinland map and the Tartar relation book full of old maps. Ooh, Cow Terminator. I have to take a look and see the Tartar relation. Okay, Vinland. I don't know what that's referring to, but when you say Tartar, I saw some from the 1700s used on that channel called My Lunch Break. Okay, so yeah, Nigeria. Notice my slick way of pronouncing that. On my map, island in the middle. Nigeria Lake on my map. Where is that? Nigeria Lake. Must be in Niger, right? So Chad had the mega lake, Chad mega lake, and then the Nigeria, if I'm right, I think that sounds like it makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I've seen that name, Giovanni Di Mauro. Okay, we'll look it up. I don't think I want to go through this whole presentation. I'll flash you some of the slides after the maps are done. There's all sorts of stuff in this that I kept. I didn't want to delete it, so I just moved it down to the other end, and I was going through that too. I don't know what Deserto de Bar Cha means, but I'm assuming it might be something. It sounds fun. I want to go there. Sounds fun. Okay, let's get this out of the way, and let's get this off there and kind of go through. And yeah, taking another last look at this. It doesn't really show you that Chot de Jared. The Chot de Jared, it's coming right in here. Maybe that little tiny thing right there is the Chot de Jared, and it's just a bad map. But then what about all these other lakes? I mean, they don't. That's not the way it's going to be. We've got Here along the Tropic of Cancer, I believe that this one over here is that Fez, F-E-Z-Z lake. Then over here, I don't know, Maghreb maybe, the Maghreb lake, which is really a lot bigger in my opinion. Okay, let's get Abraham Ortelius did this world map that made him famous. That's the one we're looking at. That same shape right there, the same everything, you know. Here, I guess it's actually the same as well, 1570. Maybe it's inspiration for that later. The one he did here was 1570. So is it the same map? It looks like it's a copy, but there's some differences, right? Here again, this one is it's showing up here, not really showing the name, but it's a little different. I think it's the same guy, right? Here you can see Tripoli, and then right there you can see that entry point. So that's kind of more like it, right? That's kind of more like it. So why is it that the later maps show stuff like this that's a lot unreasonable? And by the way, all these other rivers here, maybe it's just wishful thinking. Maybe they're just trying to make their king get all aroused and want to attack for the water. But modern day, there's no rivers like that. This is a little bit more reasonable. I don't know about this river here. You can see the ancient Taman Rasset is very short. In fact, it's saying that it ended before it got to Huadan. Well, I'm telling you, you go to the modern day map, you can't even see it. So I don't know where they got their information from. Something covered it up. Some type of cataclysm just wiped right over it. I like this one. It shows the Nigrate River there. You mentioned that, right? Is that the one you were talking about? Because that should be more the Maghreb. Here we've got interior Libya. So yeah, we know that up here was Libya. This was all Libya. So they say Libya interior. And Hodeni is, what is that? A kingdom of Hodeni? Huadain is a rock city. When this map was made, it looked exactly like it does now. You've also got this monocule down at the bottom. It's the Cyclops. This map is Sebastian Munster. And look at the Nile and how it doesn't really show the Nile going over towards the Niger River, like I do believe was one of the, like, it's showing it here. I believe it should be up in Lake Megachad, maybe. I think Lake Megachad is a lake that's on the other side of the mountain. So the mountains flow towards the Nile on the other side. But on Lake Megachad, it's a different set of situation. Here we see Huadani. We see a castle. Tagaza. We see 3 rivers going in there. Okay. Now, this is obviously Senegal. So that's Cape Verde. So what do we see here? We see the ancient Taman Rasset River. Now, this river is questionable. Is that going through Nouakchott? And why do I say that? Let's pull up the map one more time and take a quick look. If you go to this area and you look at the Senegal River, you have the one before the modern day Dakar is Cape Verde, okay? And you've got the Senegal River right here. So you're not having a river, if you say, oh, the one that's right above Dakar is the Senegal River. And then down here below Dakar, going through the Gambia, you have this other part of the river, but apparently they don't connect anymore. They used to. It used to be part of a big delta. But maybe it does connect. We don't. That's a good project. Follow these rivers up and see if they can connect. I don't believe they do. But over here, I think there's one place, and here's a lake right here. I don't want to do this right now. There it is, Nigui. There you go. I found it. Is that it, Jason? Maybe not. But I do believe that the one you're talking about with that name in an ancient map was probably in Niger. Here's Megachad right there. So that lake would have been like right around here somewhere. Is that it? So again, I don't like to speculate too much on what I don't and can't prove. What I do want to make a point now, though, is so we did have, that's Cape Blanco. That's where the river came out. That's Huadan right here. Let's go to Huadan since you can want to see it. It shows the river was going right next to it, but it's not really true. This Wadan River just goes up into these mountains. This isn't like a river that went to the ocean. So the river that went to the ocean, modern day says it came through here, went up over this, and then back down to here. I say it looks like it was right here. And maybe, and by the way, take that shot. Over here, we have a shoreline that's 200 miles long, and then we've got lake beds down below. Maybe it was right here, but to get to Wadan, you'd have to cross over this mountain and go this way. And then, of course, you've got the Eye of Africa sitting right there. That's another thing. But what about this map? When you see this, okay, I can't. This is another of the same map. You can see the Senegal River right there, right near Cape Verde. You can see the one up, but there's this other one right here. So what about this one right here? Was that another river? I do believe, and that's why I'm dragging this back over, that there was some type of river coming through here. I think this is a canal of 30 miles. Something was going on and coming out this way and probably going out to the Atlantic Ocean through here where we have this chot. Okay. However, driving through, you can't see it. Maybe this is it. Is this it right here? Is that possibly the riverbed right here? I mean, that does seem like it, but it's definitely not big enough to take a boat. And that looks like the river right there going up to Attar. So yeah, maybe it's the Attar River over here. There's this river, the body of water is right through Attar. Attar is up here. Where's Attar? Okay, this is Acre. That is a mining town. And then you go up to Attar, and there's a river. Right here's Attar. And there's a bunch of river right there. It's got water in it. So it's a modern-day river. And, yeah, so basically I see a straight line here, but the modern-day river is right there. Geography lesson over. River flow, interesting. I'll get it. Oh, hey, Chamba, in Canada, nice to see you. Well, I'll tell you what, Chamba. Thank you for saying that. What I'm going to say is another thing you could do. This one I might not re-edit because we're already at 90 minutes, and I'm kind of happy with the flow. Although I would like to cut out a few things. Yeah, okay, deal. However, the video that I did the other day, I am cutting it down. I'm trying to do this thing called compendium. And this is one of the reasons why I'm going over the maps, because the compendium should include some of this map stuff. So I'll probably grab a few interesting points made from this video. We got our CapCut is back in the USA, and I pay for that. So it's got a cool feature that will give me shorts. Okay, so we're looking at these maps. What are we looking at here? Where's the date? That's Chinese, which I speak. This is Diego Ribera's map in 1529. And what you can see is that it already has the Americas. It already has a bunch of stuff over here on the left that's useless, the Pacific Ocean. But then it shows Europe, Africa, and Asia almost complete. It doesn't really have a good edge over here of China's coast. Well, I think I see something, but do we have Japan? I don't see it. Just letting you know that this map, didn't like trying to look at this African stuff is next to impossible. There's another one, same map, I guess, but they've cut off a little bit more of the South Pacific. So here's as much as we can see from that. We don't really see rivers. We see one little kingdom, maybe. It's irritating. And there's the Senegal River. Let's forget it. Chinese map made. And by the way, is this ancient? I guess it's 1602. We've got in the wrong spot. And I zoomed in as much as possible. And what do we see here? Obviously, that's the Tropic of Cancer. And right below it, we've got a bunch of rivers. Now these rivers, it's got to be Senegal right there. Okay, there's the Senegal. The Canary Islands are up there. But and what does it say? It says the Fu Dao, Luck island. That means island. That much Chinese I do speak. And that means luck, fu. Although I do believe it's the same fu. It could be a different fu and not mean luck. It is pronounced fu. It could be fu, 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 or fu. Now, so here we have the Cape Verde Islands. So therefore, that's Cape Verde. This is probably the entry point above the Cape and below. But that one shows like maybe this is the entry point above, and they're showing a second one that wasn't shown in those other maps. But up here, again, the ancient Taman Reset, short and sweet. They probably inherited this knowledge. This is definitely Chinese. It's not Japanese, I believe. I could be wrong. All right, so here's the Waldseemüller's map after, during the so-called, uh-oh, who's this? This is the wrong phone. This is spam. It's just spam. All right. Oh, let me get rid of that. Sorry. Thank you, Chamba. I was doing all that. I hate it when I do that. Why is it? I thought I said deny. It answered the call. Okay. Guillermo Sanchez. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good question. I think you have to study Arabic to answer that question. I have no idea what that GOTS. What are GOTSs? And the Americas are drifting away. But yeah, they are drifting away. We're not going to have the Americas in the next set, right? They're disappearing. And this is the one that we're looking at right here that was came from a German cartographer after. Sorry, why can I not remember the Spanish guy's name? 1482, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, right? I'm talking about this data came from Columbus. And more because we have this northern stuff. Anyways, yeah, forget it. So I put that in there. Where did that data come from? Actually, it's the other way around. This should be on top of the Columbus. Or I don't know. It all came from the same stuff. I mean, the stuff from the Americas. But what's different is the Africa coast. So this one is, you can see the Ptolemaic influence in this map of Africa. And it's important to look at this one. So we are going in there and looking at the map of Africa as well. I think, where is it? We going the wrong way? Okay, here it is right there. And this is the data. This came from the Ptolemaic influence as far as this coastline goes. Not much what it really looks like, right? And so it's inherited from the Ptolemaic. And we'll see more of this. I call it the sharp Moroccan rectangular Africa point. And what you see is Libya interior here. You see some mountains. What we don't really see because of the way they did the map is where Capa Blanco is. I think you can see right here. You see islands everywhere out there in the ocean, and that is pointing towards this group. So that must be Cape Verde. So then that means that this is the Senegal River with the two lakes. But you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rivers going into these mountains right here. I think that's pretty interesting. Hi, Delia. How are you doing? Again, that's Cape Verde. So we got to kind of assume that this line and this river system here is Senegal. But we do still see a bunch of small ones up here above that. All right, and here's another one, the same one. So actually, I shouldn't have wasted your time. They put them all together for this one. They put them all together. That's got to be Cape Verde. That's what I just showed you. They put it together so they'd have a big, huge one. Look at all these rivers going in. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's Cape. This is the line that represents the Tropic of Cancer. Okay. Ptolemy knew about the Tropic of Cancer. So this represents a 20-degree line. This represents the 10-degree line. 20 degree is about where the Eye of Africa. You can see these mountains. That's probably Huaden. We can't read that. Okay, the Fra Mara map. This was a big, huge thing, right? This was a big, huge, like 8-foot tall thing. So the writing on it's really super small, and it was upside down. So I think they had to turn it over, and I think I turned it over for this, but I think it was upside down. You can see here Libya is upside down. So this map was showing the south as the top of the map. And you can see here that there's the Pillars of Hercules, the Strait of Gibraltar. It kind of looks like the mouth of a lion. Sometimes I wondered if they did that on purpose when they put this big circle there. It looks like a nose and mouth. You can clearly see the Senegal River, but then they totally messed it up down along the southern area and made it the mouth of a lion instead. You can see that there's a lot of stuff going on in here. So I got to get this map and I got to turn it back over and read all this. Back in that day, I wasn't interested in, I didn't know what I was looking at. This is 1459. Here's the part we care about. I think this is, I don't know, this is like the same map. That's Africa. So you can see the Arabian Peninsula right there. You can see the Persian Gulf, the Red Sea, and you can see Egypt. But over here, I included this to show the shoreline of Africa and how they perceived it. But what I really want to do is see this part again. This scan is no good. But now that we have the names, we can literally look this stuff up on Wikipedia and get the best scan. This is that the same one? I think it's the same one. And what we're seeing is that one river system here, but we're not really seeing a Tropic of Cancer line. There's the Canary Islands. So this river is really, I think, representative, especially when you see that little peninsula right there. Looks like that same thing, but I don't know for sure. I'm showing you so far away. We're talking about this spot right there. That's got to be the Canary Islands right there. Okay, this is the one that shows Spain still connected to Africa. And so it shows this name of, why did I do that? Mare, let's go back. Interior, what? Interior. So internal sea, interiorus means interior. Carthage is there. You very clearly see 1505 by Andrew Farre. The interior sea, and this is the Atlanticum Sea. Down here, they don't really, that's kind of weird, right? But I guess this is this, okay. What is that at the bottom, guys? What is that at the bottom? Is that not Antarctica? I mean, yeah, we can probably say he was just fantasizing. He had no clue how Africa really looked. And you don't see anything over here. I don't know what we're looking at over there. But then you see this thing down here that's clearly another continent. It seems to have some inlets, some rivers going to mountains. So if you want to talk about the whole Antarctica map, they say that we didn't know about it until 1820. That's a load of crap. All right. And here, the other one that says this, I don't know. Where's the next one? Okay, there it is. Thank you. Thank you. Let's look at this part. So the Nile, Atlantic. Okay, so what it says is Nilus ex Atlanta profluens. And what I believe that means is the Atlanta Nile, the part of the Nile that's coming from the Atlanta, Atlan, is that an F or an T? And then it looks like an E or an A maybe. And then profluens means flowing from. I think we even looked that up. To see. But now I'm so frustrated that I can't remember anymore. I am going to grab that ChatGPT and ask them because that's what ChatGPT is for. I got to do it over here so I can read it. So I'm going to say, please translate this from Latin or whatever language it is. Okay, no, it's not pro-F. It's pro-F-L-U-E-N-S. Let me write it down and then I'll show it. So let me just get it right. So Nihilus X Atlan. Now that I'm going to say is a T and an A, and then profluens. Okay, now I can hit go, and then I'll show you what it says. It's not giving it. So it's not, I misspelled part of it. I got to do that again. Yeah, it's X, not EX, not. So if it were X, it would be out from. All right, so here we go again. If the phrase is corrected to Nihilus ex Atlanta profluens, it can be translated as the Nile flowing forth from Atlantis. Okay, so yeah, guys, what? See, this is actually kind of big right here. This is kind of big, and I'm probably gonna have to make this my thumbnail or something. I'm just gonna grab this because, to me, I didn't say Atlantis. I said what it wrote here. Okay, and now we have the word Atlantis coming up to us in English. So I'm saving that and probably putting it into it's on my desktop for now. Let me get rid of that. But come on, man, is this about ancient maps, or is this about proving that was Atlantis? That was Atlantis. That was Atlantis. The Nile flowing out of Atlantis. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Chamba. Yeah, and I had seen that a long time ago and knew what it meant, but putting it into the Chat GPT just now gave us a new aspect of that, right? The word is Atlant. It looks like an A. Let's see if we can get closer right here. No? Anyways. Yeah, this big stuff. And then here's another one about the 1300 Mappa Mundi. It was also, I believe, upside down. And 62 by 52. That's why I said that other one is 8 foot tall. I believe it was, but this is the one. Was it upside down or not? Maybe this is the right side up way for that map. But you can see that the Africa is down there and Spain is over here. And here's another shot of it, and nothing to really look at, but we can try. As you can see, these islands are just lining up against the shore. Yeah, it makes me want to almost stop right there, Chamba. It makes me almost want to stop right there. And I think it is huge. But that's from a 1500 map, right? I should show that to Jimmy at least, because I'm pretty sure I've done it before. I'm recycling this material. Now here we can see that's Morocco, and we can see islands going along, but we've totally lost any understanding of what was going on. Is that the twins? Are they twins right there? I don't know who these people are. I think they're... I don't even know what language it is. Let's see. Who did this? Christian Faith, Hereford's Mappa Mundi 1300. I don't want to go doing research because I don't know if I'm going to be able to get much from it. But what you see there is that is the same river coming from Atlantis flowing to the Nile. There's the Nile there. So this picture here shows a big lake, probably the Maghreb Sea, and some connection there to that. These things, they look just like the ones we showed earlier, right? But that's definitely Egypt right there. It's showing the Nile tweaking over to, well, because it's a round map. There's a lot of connection with these lines that we're talking about. And the sperm lakes. This was the true sperm lake right here. Okay, or maybe I should say Polywog Lake. Here we have, again, the same situation, upside down. That's Spain, Iberian Peninsula. That's Africa. So I turned it over. This looks like it has Arabic in it. And you can see basically the Senegal River. You can kind of see what looks like probably there's some mountains over here. See, that's the thing. You see brown mountains. You see golden mountains. That's a mountain that's made of gold. That's a mountain that's made of brown. And that's probably the iron. If there's any, I don't know why it would have the difference in color. This is another one that's kind of based on the Ptolemaic orientation of Africa. Very clear. You can see the Senegal River complex going over to the ancient Niger. Well, that's connected to the Nile right there. So that's going over to the Chad mega lake, and you've got a mountain that separates them. So you've got a head of the Nile, and we know that there's two different directions that meet and turn into the Nile. So we've got this head over here, and then we've got this head over there, and then with this river going across, is going to the Senegal River. We've got part of the Niger River. This would be the Nile. This would be Niger. This would be, I don't know. What is that? Well, if we've got something going north up towards, maybe that's going into the Eye of Africa. And by the way, what the heck is this double crescented mountain over here? Can we zoom in? I didn't even catch it. What's that? Right in the middle there. And here we've got these weird rectangles. I don't know what that is. I mean, we could say it's the Tropic of Cancer, but I don't think so. You got a circle there. What's that all about? Up there, the circle. We got to figure out what that's all about. That's interesting, right? And then we got this one down here, these two mountains. Could that indeed be the Richat structure shown on a map from the 1200s? All right. Yeah, look at that. Not sure. Wish I could read it. It's upside down. So whatever that says, we should be able to read it. 1100, 200. What happened? 200 is this. This is the 200. Is this based on the Herodotus map? I don't think so, for a couple reasons. I think that they would show Thebes. That's Thebes right there. That's definitely a Herodotus map feature. Herodotus map is a little different, but we do see this inland Atlantean lake from the Atlas Mountains. By the way, if somebody wanted to argue about that, true? No, that's not true. Atlas Mountains. Okay, so why did Chamba say that's huge? Because ChatGPT translated the word to Atlantis just now. What it could have done, where's my picture? What it could have done is it could have accidentally did something with the word Atlas, Atlas Mountains. The water comes from the Atlas Mountains. So it is amazing, but I disagree that Plato's written account of Atlantis. I think we see the word Atlantis from the translation of the Atlas Mountains. Okay, I'm not trying to claim to know everything. Okay, so now here, this thing here, Ptolemy 150. See, it's Ptolemy's geography. You can see that weird thing. The line over there doesn't mean that we had land. That's the Atlantic Ocean, but we didn't know what was past that line. I can't click on that, but we've got a couple of codexes, and I guess they're in the Vatican, right? And second projection, first projection. So these projections, I don't know what that's all about, or what a codex really meant. But I do think that this is a really good grab. You see the Atlas Mountains there. You see, instead of the Senegal outlet, you just see rivers in the middle starting and finishing. Obviously, they're from these mountains, right? That's where rivers start from. We don't see any lakes from the Atlas, so nobody wants to look at this anymore. Ethiopia was what they call this area, and so they called this in the interior, but what it really was the I mean, yes, Richard, I want to be fully transparent. I'm still excited about what just happened. You're not gonna get me off my mountain that easy. But yeah, there could, if it's gonna be mistranslated, it might. Do I have any face? If it's gonna be mistranslated, it's because of the Atlas Mountains, which are right there. They knew the Atlas Mountains were there. That's for sure, right? Okay, and here's again Ptolemy Orbis, the world of Ptolemy's world, and you've got some mountains that are shown here. It's kind of the same problem. They've got rivers going out the north from the Atlas Mountains, but no river. You do see this river, but you're not sure it's south of the. Is it south of the And by the way, what's with that line? Oh, I know what that is. That's where they take your shot. That's where they seam together two maps that were separate. Okay, look at this. They got the Niger River south of the Atlas Mountains, starting and stopping. And then what's this set? The USARGALA Mountains. It kind of makes you think that perhaps there were some mountains that they changed the name of. Here we have this little dry lake bed. Over here we have the Garamantes flowing from the Garamantes. Garamantes is a bunch of, it's a big old mountain. I can show you the Garamantes and why that other map didn't have it. Where is it? I can show you that. Let's find my map. The Garamantes are essentially right here. This thing. That's the Garamantes. So whatever rivers are near that is probably what they're trying to depict. All right, can we tell much from this? I mean, that's interesting and colorful, but not showing much. It shows the Nile. Let's get out of here. This was an interesting one. What year is this? This is Ptolemy. See, the Africa continent is so good. I kind of don't believe. You see Ptolemy up there, but you kind of don't believe that this was made back then. And by the way, the Ptolemy maps could be renditions of writing, just like Herodotus. I'm not sure. But here, this shows a nice curvature to Africa. I think what this is in the Red Sea is there. Why the heck is the Red Sea like that? And who's that guy? That's not Mansa Musa. So this is pretty much based on the Ptolemy stuff. There's another Ptolemy projection. And let's see what we have before Ptolemy. And Ptolemy is more recent than Herodotus. What is this thing? The only reason why I put this here was because you can see the border of Africa. I don't really know where this came from or what year it is. I'm not sure, but it's a big mess. But what it does show is what appears to be some type of, that's got to be the Atlas Mountains right there. And then you have, it seems to be, that must be the inlet. Wait, that's Tunisia. There must be some connection with that whole shot. Anyways, it's too chaotic for me. And you do see a couple things down here. Maybe that's Hoden. You see a big black mountain right there. All right, -450. We got to be talking about Herodotus, right? And Herodotus did not draw a map. Herodotus okay, let me get rid of that. Sorry about that. Hope that didn't block anything. It was literally 2,400 years ago. Herodotus wrote his book, not exactly, called the Histories. Herodotus' Histories was the world according to Herodotus based on the time of the Persian Wars. So there's a couple of things, but yes, he did describe a tribe called the Atlantis. He was writing in ancient Greek, but it got translated by this person who made this map in English, but he put a question mark right there. So the Nile was flowing. We still have that same thing that we're going from that 1500 map where the Nile flows from Atlantis, not the Atlantic, the Atlas Mountains. The Atlas Mountains. Okay, Bright Inside brought this to my attention. He got to get credit for that. He got to get credit for that. Now, I do have a good map here that, yeah, see, this is that same map that I was talking about. But this map here shows Atlantis. See, the thing is that if you studied what Herodotus wrote, they started in Thebes and they went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. These circles here represent the Ammonia was the first one. So Thebes to Ammonia, then to Aguila, then to Garamantes. Now, I just showed you where the Garamantes Mountains are. They're way over here. So then Atlantis and Atlantis, it seems like the data was bad. He got it from somebody's trip. They traveled 10 days, 10 days, 10 days, 10 days. They didn't walk up the Nile. Well, yeah, and like I say, thank you, Chamba, for sticking with it. You can probably skip that first video because I mean, I did talk about a lot of stuff. I I just really think that what I'm trying to get to is Atar is the city next to Wadan. So maybe they somehow went through Wadan. Maybe this is Wadan, or Atar is there, and the mountains are there. You don't see it here. See, this is another Herodotus map, and it shows the Nile flowing from the Atlas. The latitude of the Giza pyramid is also the speed of light. It was also the speed of light. Thank you for sticking with me, re-indigenizing. You were here at the beginning. This is the equation we natives used to get to Memphis, Egypt. Latitude for the Giza pyramid. It's also the speed of light, if you don't believe me. Well, you say the root word, and I understand you, but it also represents for the people of the Atlas Mountains, the tribe. I believe that's what Herodotus meant at the time. But at the same time, I do believe that. Okay, so this picture doesn't come from Mauritania, but it does teach us a lot about unknown history, right? Those pictures came from Bright Insight. We're pretty much done with the maps, I guess. This is the. Okay, so now I'm using one of these that shows that the proportions. This does not depict the proportions properly. The proportions were a five. The center island, which would be right here, was 5 states across. This is 5 kilometers across. So it's like 4 times larger. Now, then it's a 1 state of water. That would have been right here. Okay, then it would have been 2 states of land. So that would have been this first ring out here. Then it would have been 2 states of water. That would be out here. The proportions match. Okay, this is also a little bit wrong. This would be 5 states across for the center island, then 1 state of water, then 1 state of land, then 2 states of water, then 2 states of land, then 3 states of water, then 3 states of land. Now, then when it connects to the rest, I mean, everybody assumed it was an island in the middle of the Atlantic. When they did stuff like this is trying to kind of make the connection to the South Sea. I don't know who did this. I kind of like it. We're almost done. Let's get this out of here just so we can finish up. Yeah. Oh, this is some stuff that I grabbed from Jimmy's first video for what Plato said. And then later on, I just went and read it myself. So this is the very beginning, you know. I don't get this. Where did that come from? Now there's clouds on it? All right, guys. It looks like we're finished, and it's a good time to finish. We're just hitting 2 hours now. You made it all the way to the end. If you were that's her name is Rossi. Those are the guys from Visiting Atlantis. This is the New Earth series. I think I probably got this from New Earth. Okay, so who are these people? I don't know, actually. I thought that was Rossi. This is the scientists Paul Weinswig and Pauline Zalitsky. And I guess that's not related to Visiting Atlantis after all. But a lot of those grabs were from the Visiting Atlantis. Dome geology, first time seeing that. This is just a fantasy image somebody made. The canal that I was in, I wasn't in that. Well, I don't know which one you're talking about. I went to the parallel canals. Thank you, re-indigenizing, for the comment. I went to the parallel canals, but the ones that I did with the Russians, those guys went to that one without me. I discovered that canal on my own, but I didn't really visit it. And I am so happy okay, now Edward Casey, these quotes from Edward Casey. This is stuff that I grabbed a long time ago and never really developed. 1993. I don't know what we're looking at right there. That's something Michael Cremo did. Forbidden Archaeology. Okay, so maybe this is like more or less of a YouTube channel or a book. Okay, and then this is coming from Edward Casey. I mean, the bottom line is scientifically, he may have come up with a lot of good information, but his stream of consciousness diatribes, which were all written down, it's all psychicness, and so it's not science. And I'm not saying that he's wrong, but I get a little bit nervous trying to quote Edgar Cayce on Atlantis or anything. He did have some dates right, but maybe he read Plato and he forgot he did. So those come from there's more Edward Cayce. At the time, I thought that was important. I don't really, this is it. That's the last of it. Now I'll probably delete all this stuff here. I'll probably just delete it. I don't remember who she is. That came from New Earth. New Earth kind of lost her channel or changed her channel, and then she locked it and she deleted a bunch of videos, and it went from ancient history stuff. She used the first one to show me the cart ruts. Okay, so we don't need to do this. Let me get out of here. Last chance for some comments. One more thing. What was a fake computer creation? Oh, I see. You said a lot of stuff. Let me just go through it all. Wait. Stig. That picture of underwater pyramids was fake. It was a computer creation. Yeah, we knew it was a computer generation. Yeah, I think we knew that. True. That's very true. Okay, so I'm sorry I missed that when you said it. I'll just go to what he's talking about. It was the New Earth pictures right here. Pyramids under the waters of Cuba were discovered. Oh, by those two. Okay, so those two people were the ones that discovered it. But yeah, this is like we don't have any really good images of all that. They do have a couple of scans, and and then they took this and generated it and created that. And here's something called the Azores Pyramid, which in my opinion was also a scam. The guy that created that, he never really gave us a good location. And then the video where you saw the pyramid on the screen, that was definitely computer generated. I think I already proved that. So it's right there. These pictures, yeah, that's actually pretty interesting that I have this here, the Azores Pyramid, but I don't have pictures of the computer screen. This is different. That's by Cuba. And that picture was earlier in the video. I just want to show it to you since people who are here now might want to see where that's supposed to be. It was right here. Yes, I believe you're right when you say that it was faked, and it does look nothing. It does look nothing like. But then there was some pictures of some Greek temple stuff on the New Earth. Thank you for that, professional. That's it, guys. We are out of here. What's this one? The river. I was going to show you that. The canals that I were in are a little bit different from the ones they showed. Going to the Eye of Africa, you can find easily the parallel canals right here and right there. I was right there. Then we have this canal that's going through and pointing right at the Richat structure. You really got to, it's right at the mouth of the Richat structure. And it's like right about there. And when you zoom in, you start to see it right here, right away. Those guys were standing over here. You can see this wall in their video right here. That wall is in their video. So they were over here. The relic they found might be over here, but it was found by one of their friends. And that was up against a pretty steep wall. So I don't think it was way down here. I think it must, I don't know exactly where it is. I think it's very interesting. We have this straight line that seems to be an old canal that's, I call them tertiary or secondary canals, but you can follow that. And when you get over here, you have a little bit of a cut through right next to my canal, which has a little bit of a cut through. Was that an entry point? Something was going on. This line here, you can go in and get that. It seems like it was cutting up this way later on, going up here to this stuff up here. And that might be a right turn or something. Let me get 3D out of there so you can see what I'm talking about. So we have the canal that those guys were in. This is a 50-mile long canal. But there's other little things here. These little inlets, 1, 2, 3. I seem to feel like those are canal inlets that have been degraded. Over here, you have this 90-degree angle, whatever that was. It goes up in here. You've got another straight line coming out of here. That's an artifact. Don't get tricked by that. Thank you for joining. Last thing I wanted to tout. I don't think I'm ready to. Oh, there it is. It's good. Luckily, I have it right here. And I didn't talk about it at the beginning, which is a shame. I should have asked everybody to go down to the GoFundMe link, give me a few bucks for my trip. So far, I've raised almost $1,000. I think it's more like 700, and I think it's actually literally 650 right now. So there was recently another one helped me. $600 is probably enough for the air flight, maybe double that. I put up originally $10,000 as a goal, but I changed it to 5,000 because I know I'm going to be spending some of my own money on this, and I don't want to turn people off by thinking I'm taking this luxury trip. $10,000 is a luxury trip, and yeah, I would have a good time if I could reach that much money. And I would thank everybody. Take some people with us. Talking to these guys in Russia about meeting up. So I'm going to go there on the 26th of next month. That's the goal right now. And we're going to, I don't know if I make it to that part. The place I've been telling everybody I want to get to is right up here. This is called the Giants Mound, the Giants Quarry. There's stuff near it. I definitely am going to go over here and look at this. That's very close and easy to get to. And then down here, I think I want to try to look at this now. Maybe this, it just like, what happened to them? Like they were carved down and then they were removed. And over here, it's like, well, that looks natural. Well, it seems like they did it along these shorelines. Over here, there's some more that are just totally weird, you know. Not up here at the top. Yeah, something was going on, but down below is where they were doing a lot of this work, not at the top of the plateau. I probably won't make it over there because that's like 100 miles away. And I'm going to be exhausted when I reach this point. So that's where I'm headed with the money that I'm grifting from you right now. What's this over here? See, these things, I don't even know how we're going to drive through. I kind of believe that they spread this mud out on top of it. I don't think that's natural erosion that did that anymore. I got a bunch of reasons why. Over here, I'll try to see what I can see. I'd like to try to get on top of this plateau and take a picture of these lines, but when you're on the ground, you're not going to be able to see this stuff from the ground. So when I go there, it's going to be a specific purpose of just making it and looking at that stuff up close. There's a cluster of structures over there that started appearing. These were modern day French military. You could say French Foreign Legion because this wasn't France. This was the Sahara Desert. So you could say French Foreign Legion, but those were exercising. What's this one? I don't know this one. Undetermined structure. Where? See, people put stuff in there without really, I mean, you're not going to get a picture of it. No picture, right? So where's the structure? There's no structure here. You can't even get in there. Okay, guys, this is over. Thank you so much. Underwater. Oh, yeah, I made you look at your comment all that time, and you corrected it because you made a mistake, I guess. And that's life. And that's why these live streams, they're insane. And that's why you have the StreamYard logo, because I'm just basically gathering and clearing information. This was the presentation on maps. And yeah, here are the maps. If I wouldn't talk about maps anymore, I can thank all the maps I use. Here's the one called Satellites.pro. I believe it's the one that Apple Maps uses. Use that one if you really want to get better stuff. Where was that thing that we were looking at? It was up here. And it was right over here. There was some stuff. It said some structure right there. We still can't see that structure. I don't know what he was talking about. We can see over on the other side these things that I showed you. These little, I call them structures for military war games, infantry war games. Pretty much proven. That could have been like a little castle, a little fort. And there's another fort out here that I just finally found after all these years. It's way out here. But you see, oh my God, look at that. See, that's something that I never saw before because of this map. Look at those straight lines. See, these are just like those straight lines, but over in there. Okay, right here, there's a fort. Can I find it? I don't think I'm going to find it. I think it's see, then we've got clouds in the way. I got to go out. It's the last one before here, so it's right in here. There's a fort right there. Where is it at? It was kind of cool. It's not that important, though. So then the next mapping that I'm going to talk about is the one that I was using first for topography. Now it's not my favorite anymore. I hit Mauritania and hit search, and then because it doesn't give you Africa as a default, and then you can get. I like these for showing the sea levels of everything. And one of the things this really did show is we're really missing some mountains right there. So that's probably the impact that destroyed Atlantis. Okay, and then Caltapa, where is it? Right there. These are the parallel ridges that I found in New Mexico. Don't forget, this type of technology was going all over. And that is the Caltapa. I do like it. I use it more. It doesn't really show you the sea levels, but it shows you better definition, like LiDAR level stuff. Guys, I'm out of here. Thank you so much for joining me. I talked another 10 minutes. I was going to try to get it to be 2 hours. And where's the camera? Thanks again for joining me. I will be continuing this conversation. I will be redoing I will be editing this down into like a 20-minute video if I can, where it's super fast and the information is delivered really quick. But I wanted to go through it one more time to see how I've changed my opinion. Now it's 3 p.m. So it's time I was going to go outside and work today, and then something made me do this, and here I am. We'll see you again. Thank you so much. And Chamba, I don't know if you really need to go watch the whole thing, but you can at least start from the beginning and see the beginning of my presentation back then. Talk to you again soon. Thank you, guys. Thanks so much, Dan Perry. I'll check my email. I think that was you, right, that sent that. Have a good one, guys. I'm out. Bye-bye.